Copyright, copyright, copyright. Everybody's always wanting to know, what is a copyright? Like, is it really that complicated? And the answer is, yes, it can be. But that's why we're here to simplify it for you. When you write a song, you are creating a copyrightable work. There are lots of laws and rights and all sorts of things associated with that copyrighted work, including your ability to make money with it. So, what is a copyright and why should you care? Copyright is actually a federal statute given to us from Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution, which means our founding fathers thought that it was really, really important that we protect your creative works, and that's why the copyright statute was created. The first major overhaul of copyright was in 1909, and the Copyright Act primarily protected things like books and charts and maps and musical works. The next major overhaul of the Copyright Act took place almost 70 years later under the 1976 Copyright Act, which was enacted in 1978. And believe it or not, there hasn't been a major overhaul since that time. True, there's been different additions and amendments, but as far as a major overhaul, the 1976 Copyright Act is the one we utilize today. So exactly what is protected by copyright? Well, copyright law protects original fixed expressions or original fixed works of authorship. What that means is whatever it is you create that's artistic and creative, it has to be original. It has to be fixed in a tangible medium, meaning we need to be able to see it or feel it or touch it or read it. Whatever it is you create, you have to make sure that you either write it down, transcribe it, take a picture of it, videotape it, whatever it is you have to do to make sure that there is a tangible form of that expression in order for copyright to attach. And it needs to be an expression versus an idea, because copyright doesn't protect ideas. It does protect, however, expressions of ideas, hence the term original fixed expressions. And there are 8 categories of original fixed expressions in the Copyright Act. They are literary works, things like books and magazines. Then there are dramatic works. They're kind of like literary works, but they're literary works that are performed. So things like scripts and plays. Then there are pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works, photographs, logos, pictures, paintings. There's also choreographic and pantomime works, dance moves, even wrestling moves. Then you've got architectural works, blueprints to like building designs. Next would be motion picture and audiovisual works. Those are things like films and documentaries and videos. Finally, there are musical works, words, music, lyrics, and sound recordings, which are usually recordings of things like words, music, and lyrics. So those are the 8 categories of copyrightable works. And usually, no matter what your artistic expression is, it will probably fall within one of those 8 categories. So once you create an original work of authorship or an original fixed expression, you are automatically protected by copyright. What do you get then when you get a copyright? Well, you actually get 6 what we call exclusive rights. Exclusive means that only the owner of the copyright has these rights, unless, of course, they transfer the rights to someone else. The 6 exclusive rights are the right to reproduce, the right to distribute, the right to make derivatives, the right to publicly perform, the right to publicly display, and the right to publicly perform sound recordings via digital audio transmissions. So what does all of that mean? Basically, if you have the right to reproduce, that means that no one can copy or reproduce your work without your permission. When you have the right to distribute, that means that no one can rent, sell, or lease your work without your permission. Then there's the right to make derivatives. This one's really important because it means that no one can edit, alter, change, or adapt whatever it is you create without your permission. The right to publicly perform means that no one can perform your work in public without your permission. Same for the right to publicly display. No one can display your work in public without your permission. And finally, there is the limited right to publicly perform sound recordings digitally, which means via internet, cable, or satellite. So once you have that bundle of exclusive rights, no one can exploit your works except you without your permission.